Before the advent of people carriers, sports utility vehicles and crossovers, if you wanted a vehicle with a serious amount of space inside, there was this, the large Volvo estate. Today, badged V70 for the modern era, it's as uncompromisingly big and practical as ever, bridging the gap between medium-range Mondeo-sized estates and the very largest, fully fledged, executive-shaped station wagons. High-tech safety features and an updated, more efficient range of engines continue to keep its appeal strong.
So, what should your expectations be when it comes to driving one of these? On one hand, moaning that a big Volvo estate can't be thrown around the lanes like a sports saloon seems a bit ridiculous. Yet, as the Swedish maker well knows, only slightly pricier German rivals like BMW's 5 Series Touring and Audi's A6 Savant have shown that it really is possible to produce a car like this with plenty of carriage capacity, yet at the same time quite an accomplished dynamic repertoire. It simply isn't good enough for the Scandinavian marque to produce tank-like handling in this day and age, which, to be fair, it doesn't. In fact, since front-wheel drive first made an appearance on this class of Volvo with the 850 and the V70 series models of the mid-90s, buyers have mostly been pleasantly surprised at the speed at which this big car can be hustled around tight corners. Now, the subject of engines isn't normally one I'm very prescriptive about when it comes to sharing driving impressions on films like this. Different owners do, after all, have different needs when it comes to specifying what lies under the bonnet. With this improved V70 model, though, a car now offered only with diesel power, I'm going to make an exception to that rule. I can't really see why you'd buy this car with any engine other than the D4 diesel unit that I'm trying here.
At a stroke, this engine makes the typical Volvo salesperson's job rather awkward, as it's virtually as clean and economical as the feeblest 115 brake horsepower 1.6-litre D2 V70, but at the same time also virtually as fast and responsive as the priciest diesel in the lineup, the most powerful 215 brake horsepower 2.4-litre D5 V70 variant.
Let's be more specific. As well as being able to average over 65 miles to the gallon and emit under 115 grams per kilometre of CO2, this D4 gets to 62 miles an hour from rest in just 8.6 seconds on the way to 137 miles an hour. Even if you opt for the 8-speed automatic version, a car like the one I'm trying here, those stats aren't majorly affected. Such are the benefits of modern technology. As a brand, Volvo's design language has become significantly more trendy in recent years, but with this V70, the approach has been more cautious. As for the most recent aesthetic changes, well, you'll really have to know your V70s to appreciate them. Owners of earlier third-generation models may notice the smarter front grille with its larger brand badge, the daytime running lights, and the added chrome touches that aim to give the car a more upmarket and luxurious feel. At the rear, there's a completely redesigned bumper along with smarter tail lights. Overall, though, Volvo hasn't been diverted from this car's raison d'etre, lugging gear. Raise the optionally powered tailgate and a 575-litre boot is revealed. So, it's good for packages, but what about for people? Well, take a seat in the rear and you'll find that 3 fully sized adults will just about fit comfortably, enjoying decent standards of leg, head and knee room, as well as these neat vents in the B-pillars. Slip behind the wheel and you're treated to an example of Scandinavian design at its very best, with this trademark super slim floating centre console, simple instruments and switchgear ergonomics that are a match for anything from Audi or Mercedes. The idea is that, like IKEA furniture, this cabin should be typically Swedish. Comfortable, simple, intuitive and visually pleasing. However you choose to exactly classify it, this V70 is an executive car, but it needn't come with executive segment running costs. Quite the opposite, in fact. What if I were to tell you that the fuel and CO2 costs of running one of these could be about the same as a little 1.5-litre Ford Fiesta diesel Super Mini? Well, that's just what I'm going to tell you. Fitted with Volvo's latest generation Drive-E 2-litre diesel engine, a V70 D4 variant like the one I'm trying here delivers 65.7 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle and 113 grams per kilometre of CO2. How to sum up then? Well, here's a car that'll probably outlast you. A car that'll become part of the family as it takes ballet lessons, boating trips and skiing adventures in its stride. MPVs and SUVs might sound cleverer, but there's still little to touch this Volvo when it comes to doing what big estates need to do. If you're looking for the definitive example of the breed, look no further.